Hello, friends. Welcome to Mr. Keneally's desktop. I stuck up my towel on. Been making pizza again. Alrighty. Still relegated to the garage. Still talking about the Dust Bowl. Which is good because it's a couple hours after I made yesterday's video. It's like a 90. Maybe higher. Hey Siri, what's the temperature right now?
It's about 90 degrees outside.
Wow, that's impressive. All right, so today, looking at a couple of documents. All right. So instead of having you guys just analyze these documents yourself, write an essay, do a full DBQ, we're just gonna look at some ourselves, our own selves here. So this one I've already annotated. So this is document A. It's Henderson letter. It says Caroline Henderson's letter to Henry A. Wallace, sent July 26, 1935. So this is a few years into the Dust Bowl. Dust Bowl official start time right around 1931. Okay, and see that? Good sneeze form. It says, yet common sense suggests that the regions which are no longer entirely self-supporting cannot rely indefinitely upon government aid. All right? Okay? Can't rely on government aid forever. That's what indefinitely means. Okay? So the problem remains, and the one satisfactory solution to the Dust Bowl she's talking about, okay, is beyond all human control. So she's saying there's nothing people can do about this. Okay? There's nothing we can do about it. She says some of our neighbors with small children, fearing the effects upon their health, have left temporarily until it rains. All right? So she's talking about the drought. Okay? So there are full-blown drought. Hasn't rained a lot for years at this point. Okay? Others have left permanently, thinking doubtless that nothing could be worse. Thus far, we and most of our friends seem held, that means they're going to stay, for better or for worse, by memory and hope. So, she's not ready to abandon what she has made as her home. I can look backward and see our covered wagon drawn up by the door of the cabin in the early light of that May morning long ago. Can feel again the sweet, fresh breath of the untrodden prairie, and recall for a moment the proud confidence of our youth. All right, pretty nice letter here. Am I right? Pretty nice letter. Then she says, unnecessary. Then she says, but when I try to see the wagon or the Model T truck headed in the opposite direction, away from our home and all our cherished hopes, I cannot see it at all. Perhaps it is only because the dust is too dense and blinding. So she's not ready to give up. Okay? But she does admit a lot of people have left, particularly, she points out, people with small children, because it really was bad on your health. Even when the dust storms weren't like full blown, like like I showed you that picture yesterday, when there weren't just walls of dust coming at you, there was still always just dust particles because it was so dry. It's just there was always dust particles, and it caused a lot of problems with lungs, especially people who were predisposed to those types of issues with asthma or allergies, that kind of thing. All right, so that's the Henderson letter. So my question for you is, what do you think, if you could ask Caroline Henderson what she thought caused the Dust Bowl, what would your answer be there? Go ahead, say it out loud. Okay. All right, interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think definitely she's looking at it's beyond human control. We just got to wait for it to rain. It's because of the drought, people. All right, so then let's look at a professor's opinion here. All right, so I'm going to leave this one. This link for this will be in the discussion question. And so all you need to do is open it up, go to File, make a copy, all right, and make yourself a copy of it. And you can go ahead and annotate this one up yourself, okay? So it's document D, historian Professor Donald Worcester. His source, it's from his book titled Dust Bowl, The Southern Plain in the 1930s. It was published in 1979. So this is a historian who went back, gathered together things like Henderson's letter, gathered materials together, and then gave his overview of it. He says the Dust Bowl came into being during the 1930s as fulvous dirt began to blow all the way from the plains to the East Coast and beyond. What fulvous means, I have no idea. Okay, probably a pretty good idea to look it up. Define fulvous. Reddish yellow, tawny. Tawny. I've never heard that before. Fulvous. Kind of seemed made up, honestly. All right, whatever. Let's not get distracted by that. From the plains to the East Coast and beyond, that was also the age of the Great Depression. Coincidence, some might say, that the two traumas should come at the same time. Few who have written on either affair have noticed any connection between them. My argument, however, is that there was in fact a close link between the Dust Bowl and the Depression, that the same society that produced them, and for similar reasons. Both events revealed fundamental weaknesses in the traditional culture of America. What a shot. Weaknesses in American culture? My goodness. The one in ecological terms, the other in economic. Both offered a reason and an opportunity for substantial reform of that culture. So he's saying that this is caused by the way that Americans are living, right? Let's hear what he has to say about that. That the 30s were a time of great crisis in American and indeed in world capitalism has long been an obvious fact. The Dust Bowl, I believe, was part of that same crisis. It came about because the expansionary energy of the United States has finally encountered a volatile marginal land, destroying the delicate ecological balance or ecological balance that had evolved there. Okay, so what he's saying is that the introduction of people has upset the balance of nature in this area and has caused this. Okay, so people coming in, farming the land, messed up the ecology of this area, messed up nature's sort of natural way of taking care of itself, and people caused this. He says, we speak of farmers and plows on the plains and the damage they did. All right, so farmers, they plow all that land. Okay, so they're getting rid of things like trees. They're getting rid of the natural cover, all the natural grasses and everything that grows there. They're getting rid of all of that and exposing the soil. Okay, he says what brought them to the region was a social system, a set of values, an economic order. There's no word that so fully sums up those elements as capitalism. So what he's saying is that, you know, as part of American culture is this idea of like, look, you can go out and you can make something of yourself. But what he's arguing is that sometimes we don't really think of all the consequences of those actions. Like, yes, like we talked about with Manifest Destiny, there's all this land out in the West and available, all right? And people went out there, like in thousands and thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people went out west and started farming. Well, we didn't really think of the cost of that. We didn't really think through, well, what sort of effect is this going to have on the land? And is this land really going to be very valuable after that? All right, so I'll leave that for you to think about. So for today's assignment, you're just doing a discussion question. The docs are in there that you can look up. You can make your own copies, do with what you need. And then you just need to answer the question that's in there. What caused the Dust Bowl? Okay? Make sure it's a good answer. Think of this as a hypothesis, okay? You're hypothesizing, you're getting ready to write a thesis statement, okay? What caused the Dust Bowl? All right. That's it for Tuesday. Do good work. Write good, solid answers. Write good sentences. All right. Can't see my stop button.